What's going on, everyone? It's the Fantasy Football Almanac. I am sorry for my 2-day hiatus. I've had some family problems going on, but I am back and better than ever, and I'm ready for a buy low running backs video so you can go out, win your league, dominate your league mates. But before we get into it, if you guys could, please go down and give this video a like, give this video a comment. I'm answering every single fantasy football related comment, so start sits, trades, anything you guys want. I am more than happy to discuss with you guys. And subscribe. It takes 2 seconds. It would mean the absolute world to me. We are at 80, closing in on 100. I would be so happy. And turn the notification bell on so you do not miss another video. With that out of the way, let's hop into our first running back. So the first running back I want to talk about is Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon's a buy low of all buy lows, a perennial buy low candidate. For one, throughout the season, he's only scored 2 touchdowns, but has had the second most touches in the entire NFL, only behind Saquon Barkley. And the crazy thing is, every single player who has at least 100 touches on the season, and Joe Mixon has 128, which is the second most, have at least 3 touchdowns. Joe Mixon is the only one that doesn't, and this is a very, very talented offense with an O-line that is clicking and only getting better as the season goes on. We saw Joe Mixon over the last 2 games get a lot more efficient, going from the first 4 weeks of 2.73 yards a carry to now 5.6 yards a carry. It took him some time to get used to the O-line. The O-line wasn't really doing much. Now the offensive line looks a lot better, especially going up against the Saints, a very, very tough run defense, and they look great. Not only that, but Joe Mixon is averaging 5 targets a game through the first 6 weeks of the NFL season. And if I had told you that going into the season, you would have been on cloud 9. You would have been in heaven. But right now, the rushing efficiency hasn't been there, which has held Joe Mixon back, and the touchdowns haven't been there. But we know Joe Mixon can score touchdowns. Last year alone, Joe Mixon was averaging a touchdown a game. And, well, yes, regression was due. Now he's regressed to the other side where he's averaging 1/3 of a touchdown a game. I think Joe Mixon is fairly safe to average a little bit over a half a touchdown a game at the bare minimum, especially with the amount of touches he's getting and the offense that he's in. And you can go and trade for him with an RB2 and a wide receiver too. I think that is absolutely fine value for a guy like Joe Mixon, who has boom weeks as he showed last season, when he had a stretch of averaging 27 points a game through 3 weeks, and then he cooled off a little bit as averaging about 8 points a game, but then comes back with a 28-point performance. Joe Mixon is going to be a little hit or miss like that. But right now, he's in the miss, he's in the downswing, and he will most certainly hit with the volume he's getting. It's just a matter of time. The next running back I want to talk about is Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt, over the past 5 weeks, excluding week 6, has averaged almost exactly 15 touches a game. I mean, pretty much 15 touches every game. But in week 6, he goes out and only gets 4 carries and 1 target and doesn't even convert the target. And well, yes, his stat line in week 6 does look a little scary. I mean, only having 4 carries, only getting 1 target. This was a game where the Browns were down very early against a really, really good Patriots defense. We saw Nick Chubb only have 7 points. I don't think this is necessarily on Kareem Hunt. I think this is more on game script. And while that is a tad bit concerning, I don't envision the game script to be like this every single game, especially once they get Deshaun Watson back. And while Kareem Hunt's volume will most likely be going down from 15 touches a game to probably about 12, with Deshaun Watson in the lineup, I think his efficiency will go up in that time. Because when you have a star-studded quarterback that's going to open up way more holes from the O-line. And Deshaun Watson is a guy who does dump off to his running backs a decent amount. Kareem Hunt averages 3 targets a game. I think that is absolutely fine. And that doesn't even count the fact that if Nick Chubb is to go down, Kareem Hunt is arguably the best handcuff running back in the entire NFL. As Kareem Hunt has done it before, in his rookie year, he was the running back 4 in all of fantasy football. And even 2 years ago when he played a full 16 games. And even last year, when him and Chubb were both on the field for the first 6 weeks, Kareem Hunt was actually the running back 13 in total points scored, which put him just barely ahead of Nick Chubb. But anyways, that is it for Kareem Hunt. Let's move on to our next player. And this guy's a very high-risk player right here. There's a lot of uncertainty going into this, but you can get him for very, very cheap, and it's Cordarrelle Patterson. For one, people were very timid going into the season to take Cordarrelle Patterson because of his age, because it was a fluke season last year, according to some people. And yes, in some regards, it may have seemed like that. But then he comes into the season and averages a little bit under 15 points a game. Yet again, it's the Cordarrelle Patterson we saw from last year. And then he goes down with an injury. He is on IR. We don't know exactly what the timetable is going to be for his injury. But the thing is, we've seen Cordarrelle do it for now a year and 4 games. And in that time, last season, he was the running back 9. And right now, you can get him for dirt cheap. I'm saying literally nothing. You can go out there and offer the Cordarrelle Patterson owner the most BS depth. I imagine you would for sure get him. I imagine you could trade Jeff Wilson and get the deal done, no problem. I imagine you could trade Antonio Gibson and get the deal done, no problem. Devin Singletary, get the deal done, no problem. And this is a guy who has the upside to be an RB1 for your offense. And, well, yes, again, I'm saying this is an extremely risky buy low candidate. I think at the price point you're getting him for, the upside is definitely there. We've seen it for a full season, and the only concern is this injury plus his age, but he doesn't have the wear and tear on his body that some of these other running backs have, like a Derrick Henry, like a Saquon Barkley, because through the first 7 seasons of his career, he was solely a punt returner. So I think it is possible he does recover from this injury, and if he does, you have an absolute steal of a player. And if he doesn't recover, well, that stinks. You traded very, very little to get him. I think he's a high reward, high risk player, but I am all for taking those guys because in fantasy, it's about winning your league, not playing to not lose your league, if that makes any sense. Don't play it safe in fantasy because you want to win your league. The next buy low candidate I want to talk about is DeAndre Swift. And DeAndre Swift is a player who was a little unlucky with the end zone this year. Jamal Williams sapping a lot of touches down there. But even still, DeAndre Swift's efficiency has been out of this world. I mean, so far this season has been able to average 8.6 yards a carry. And, well, yes, that's on a small sample size. I mean, he looks incredible out there. Not to mention the fact that they have the 4th best O-line in the entire league right now, according to PFF. With a grade like that, you can't be too mad. Plus, they're coming off a bye week in which DeAndre Swift was able to get a full week of rest and get more integrated into the game plan. They're getting Amon-Ra St. Brown back, which could only help get them down to the end zone more. Plus, we saw DeAndre Swift return to practice on Wednesday, which is exactly what we like to see moving forward. But also, we've seen DeAndre Swift handle a target share that he hasn't exactly handled so far this year, but we know it will come for him. Last year, he handled 19% target share, which is the highest among any running back in the entire NFL. Well, yes, I think a 19% target share with Amon-Ra coming in, with Jameson Williams coming back, I think a target share like that is unsustainable. But even if we see 4 or 5 targets a game and 10 rushes a game from him, that is easily high-end RB2 numbers for the efficiency that DeAndre Swift has. It might be a little painful seeing the touchdowns sapped from him, but the explosive plays he has are straight up next level. I mean, few running backs have plays like he does when he gets into open space. So I think DeAndre Swift's a really fun player to watch and a good fantasy buy low candidate because he's kind of left people's brains with his injury, just sitting on his bench, or just sitting on people's benches. So I would absolutely go ahead and trade for him. It might cost a little bit of a hefty price, but when he comes back, you have a surefire low-end RB1, high-end RB2 for your roster. Now, the last player I just wanted to touch on pretty briefly is Melvin Gordon. And I know we all saw the game on Monday night, Broncos versus the Chargers. Melvin Gordon got 3 carries. Latavius Murray totally outcarried him. But what I will say is that Melvin Gordon has been promised the lead role for Week 7 by Nathaniel Hackett. Well, we don't know how true this is going to be. They did just bring in Latavius Murray for a game. Maybe they're trying to get his feet wet. I think Melvin Gordon is a buy low, not because he's a very, very talented player anymore, or because he will almost definitely have the workload. It's almost like a Cordarrelle Patterson situation where the ceiling is really high and the price to buy in is extremely low. I mean, Melvin Gordon might be dropped in a lot of your leagues. You might be able to go out and get him in free agency. But if not, I would go out and trade the absolute bare minimum for him. I mean, the last player on your bench should be able to do it with the performance he had. Everyone saw Melvin Gordon get mad on the bench. Everyone's seen the picture of Melvin Gordon staring down Russ, just mad. But it's still, at the end of the day, Melvin Gordon, a guy they've had for a while now. He's familiar. He's comfortable in the offense. And we should see him at least be somewhat utilized over a guy like Mike Boone. It is weird, especially because before Javonte Williams was down, Melvin Gordon was easily the running back 2, handling about 40% of snaps, and now he's getting phased out for Latavius Murray. Well, yes, it's anything but a certainty here. I think the ceiling of Melvin Gordon is high enough to where it's okay to trade one of your last bench pieces to go out and acquire him. But anyways, guys, that is going to do it for the video. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, please go down and give this video a like. I'm answering every single fantasy football related comment, and subscribe to the channel if you did enjoy. But with that, I hope you guys all had a great day, a great night, and a great life.